Hi, I'm Toma Clark Haines. Hi, I'm Toma Clark Haines, founder of the Republic of Toma and CEO of the Antiques Diva & Co. And we're going live for a Prosecco Power Hour with Andrea Hysmith, the founder of ASH Interiors and Antiques. Okay, so already Andrea's right there. She's going to go live with us. Let's see what happens. I have my Prosecco here. Okay, now here's the deal. Do you guys remember the concept of the Prosecco Power Hour? There you are. Oh my God, it's so wonderful to see you.
Hi, gorgeous.
So good to see you.
Ready? Do you see this?
I'm right here. I've got my Prosecco. I'm ready to go.
Let's do it.
Cheers. Okay, first of all, I have to say, you look amazing. You look so fabulous. How are you?
Good. This is the power of NARS Red Lip. I just threw it on. It has been, it's been a day.
Okay, do you know that red lipstick is my secret weapon? So when I am utterly exhausted.
And leopard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Leopard is my superpower, but
Right.
red lipstick is my secret. When I am utterly exhausted, do you know who Toby Fairley is? Do you know Toby?
No.
Okay, so Toby Fairley is an interior designer in Arkansas. And I was traveling with Toby one time, and we were actually in Italy. I was living in Germany at the time. And I was traveling with Toby, and she looked at me and she goes, "Girl, you look tired." And I said, "I am tired. It's been a long week." And she goes, "You need red lipstick. Red lipstick's the answer. If you're tired, red lipstick's the answer." So every time I wear red lipstick, it's because I'm exhausted.
Well, cheers to red lipstick, because exhaustion, it's so absolutely ridiculous right now. I don't know how it is in Venice, but we've talked about this numerous times. Like, there's product delays. I keep saying it over and over again like a broken record. There's shipping delays, and it's all like first world problems, especially since, you know, Jeff Bezos is in space. But like, I can't get anything. And every time my phone rings, I'm just like, oh my gosh. So this is a perfect break because I've been on calls all morning. So seeing your face, having a glass.
Okay, I love the fact that I'm seeing your face 2 days in a row, because it's not just today. I saw you yesterday. Okay,
I know.
For those of you who are watching at home, for those of you who are watching the Prosecco Power Hour, we need to explain that. So Andrea is my partner in crime and design. And we get into a lot of trouble. We have a lot of fun. We drink a lot of Prosecco. And in our Prosecco Power Hour, we discuss in 30 minutes what most people would discuss in a full hour, because we get right down to business. Right down.
We got shit to do.
So I canceled on you last week. I mean, let's call it, you know? I mean,
but you didn't feel well because you were tired, exhausted.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. Last week, I was utterly exhausted. And I messaged you like 2 hours, 3 hours before we were going live. And I just said, I don't feel well. I don't want to do this. Like, I can do it, but honestly, I'm not going to be good. I'm not going to be myself. And you very graciously let me get out of jail free, which I really appreciated.
You know, we have to be each other's cheerleaders sometimes. We also have to be each other's shoulder to vent, ear, everything. And when your friend, when your person, when your partner, whomever, when they're not feeling it, you have to say, okay, and not take it personal. So there we go.
So the purpose of today's conversation, which was supposed to be last week's conversation,
right?
The purpose is to talk about balance. So, oh my gosh, what was the irony that a day in advance, 2 days in advance, we're discussing what the topic's going to be, and I say, let's talk about balance. Well, then, then of course I canceled because I wasn't balanced. And of course, the reason that I had mentioned I wanted this to be the topic of the Prosecco Power Hour was because I knew I was out of balance. I wasn't functioning the way that I should. And I thought it's probably a good thing, for me to just be honest and say where I am, but also for us to discuss ideas and to share with the community how we
Right.
deal with these times.
Right. And you know what's interesting? Our whole concept of the Prosecco Power Hour, because we got shit to do, is because we're always like this. Like
Yeah.
every single half hour is booked, right? And that is exactly not
That's the opposite of balance.
of balance, of being balanced. And it's funny because I have a couple of design friends and some colleagues that are actually taking a break this week. And I'm like, wow, you're taking a break. And even though we were in Paris a couple weeks ago, I have told people that yes, there were moments of break and relaxation, but we actually worked quite a bit.
Oh my gosh.
So
I was exhausted after France. It took me a
exhausted.
solid 2 weeks to recover. A solid 2 weeks to get my group
Right.
back.
Right. Absolutely. And we didn't even get a chance to really relax when we got back. We just had to kind of, you know, try to get back in sync while the balls were still being thrown in the air.
Exactly. And it's immediately like jumping into the deep end, immediately
Right.
getting back into everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I want to ask you is how do you schedule your time? Because first of all, we talked about this concept of the Prosecco Power Hour is because
Right.
every 30 minutes we're doing something. So I want to know what your schedule looks like. How do you manage your schedule? Is it old fashioned analog? Are you like on Google Calendar? Are you digital? Like, first of all, how are you managing your agenda?
So if you saw my calendar, it would give you anxiety. My calendar gives me anxiety because, as you guys know, so I'm a designer, I'm a luxury rep, and then I also am basically, I mean, I'm divorced a couple times, single mom, right? Daughter, you know, so I'm a lacrosse mom. So my calendar is like an explosion of multiple colors because I have my design client stuff, I have my rep stuff, I have Kiara's schedule, and then every once in a while I try to fit in a little like, hey, I ain't got no kid, so let me go do the thing. So I fit all that in, right? But I have it on my phone, and I tell people all the time, do not, if you send me a text and say, can we do something? Like if I don't immediately put it on the calendar, it's like it doesn't exist. So my calendar on my phone, which syncs to my computer, is the holy grail. Now I've tried, you know, I don't know about you, like I'll buy like a really cute planner and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to write this stuff down and have it in my purse. I get it, and I start like 2 days, and then I forget that it's in my purse.
Okay.
But I definitely live.
Everything's on paper. I mean, I work in it.
Really?
Everything's on paper.
No, it's not. I love that because I'm very dependent. If my phone crashes, I am screwed. Like I am completely screwed because everything is there. So, but I absolutely live by the calendar. And every night before, like every evening, I check it to just remind myself of what's happening in the morning, the weekend. Like it's just, you know, I live by that thing. And what I have started doing, and we were, while you were sick last week, I kind of put a question out there for the people that listened for a few minutes was, you know, how do you fit time in for yourself? Because, you know, I won't cancel on a client. I won't cancel on my daughter, but I'll cancel on myself in a second. So I started now adding like my workouts to my calendar.
Okay, wait. This was the most radical thing ever. About 3 months ago, I made the decision to put my workouts in my workday. And it was counterintuitive because in the past I was putting it at the end of the day. The day was done. I know you get up early and do it, but I won't do it. And so I thought, I'm just going to put them in the middle of the day. So I go during the lunch hour. I go at the noontime. And
Perfect.
But it means I'm leaving. So it's my trainer is 1 to 2, but it means I need to leave my house by 12:20, which means I get home at 2:30. So suddenly 12:20 to 2:30 every day is like, well, Monday.
That's a big block of time.
It's a huge block of time. And so suddenly that's blocked out of the calendar. But you know what? Now that it's on my calendar, I do it. now that it's an appointment,
Mm-hmm.
it's treated as an appointment, the same
Right.
as an appointment with a phone call, which, by the way, I have to confess, the other day I had the most horrible thing happen. I wake up in the morning, I get an email, there's a client sending me a somewhat upset message. She's like, I waited for like an hour and you never called. And I was like, shit. That's so, like, literally, I just simply forgot a client. And
Oh yeah.
it was a sign of too much going on. I didn't call a client. And I was like, no, this one, I sent her an email immediately. I apologize. I'm sincerely sorry. This is the situation. This is what happened. And this is what I'm doing during the moment when I call you. And I'm very sorry.
Right. Right.
Second of all, I'm willing to call you immediately. I also understand if you never want to speak to me again, if you're
Right.
like, goodbye.
Right. No, and that happens. I mean, I have accidentally double booked because things didn't sync and I confirmed like 3 different things. You know, it happens. And the thing is, we should be able to take a break during the day. Like you took a break. Even this Prosecco Power Hour I have on the calendar. And I've been telling people, if you can take a late lunch, take a late lunch, but it's okay. It's funny. We're made to feel guilty sometimes, whether you work for yourself or you work for someone else. If you take a vacation day, oh my gosh, aren't you giving them for a reason?
Yeah.
But we're made to feel bad. You know, I get messages on Sunday, and that's absolutely like, I will not reply to a customer on a Sunday. And then Monday morning, I get an attitude part 2 of, I sent you a message yesterday. I called you yesterday. I emailed you yesterday. And I'm like, it was Sunday. I take, just give me one day. You know what I don't like, and I don't know if you struggle with this. I get the email, then the phone call, then the text, then the text again.
The double text.
Then the phone call again. And none of them will say anything but call me. So there's no details. And it's just like, I know, and I want all my clients, if you hear me, you are so special and I adore every single one of you. But there are more than one.
No,
you know, so
you're doing your best. In the
right.
end, that's what it comes down to. You're doing your best. There's only so many hours in the day. You're serving the clients the best of your ability. And sometimes you drop the ball, and it really sucks, and you feel like a jerk when you drop the ball, but it happens.
Right.
And, and that's what
happens. It happens. Now, question, when you go on vacation, if do you bring work?
Oh God, always. So what I will say, the magic of my life is this. The magic of my life is a friend's joke. They're like, you're never working. You're always having fun. And one hand, when I'm with networking never feels like work. So often having fun. Often I'm in a situation that I don't feel like. However, I'm also, so on one hand, it feels like I'm never working. On the other hand, I am always working.
Always working. Yep.
Of course. I think, so what I've started, I read a book called The 4-Hour Work Week is Utterly Impossible. The 4-hour work week. I'm like, forget that. What a 4-hour work day. What I think I do is I do the 4-hour work day, meaning I work 8 days a week. I work 4 hours, 7 days a week. Always 4 hours every day. But I don't work 8 hours every day. There are days that I work 12. There's days that I work 16. But in general, my goal is if I work 4 hours every day when it's not an extreme situation, I feel like that's my goal. That's my goal in achieving balance. And it doesn't always work. But I'm trying to think, and part of the reason I wanted to have this conversation with you is I am trying to think out of this, beyond this mental dominated mindset, this mindset of the past, this mindset of my father. My father told me when I graduated from university, my father said, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just have to work harder than everyone else. This was at my graduation ceremony. And I'm tired of working harder than everyone in the room. I'm ready to work smarter than everyone.
Right.
That's what I'm ready for.
Right. So it's funny that you say that, because obviously COVID, shut a lot of things down, and we started doing Zooms and we started doing a lot of things virtually, right? So now that the world is opening up, in quotes, I think that it is a complete disservice if we forget the things that we learned during COVID,
Amen.
which were, not every meeting needs to be in person.
Amen.
Not, so I have to go to South Dakota on Monday. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so pissed. Do you hear me? I'm pissed that I have to go to South Dakota, because it 100%, and if anybody is watching that's on here, you can tell I said it. It is absolutely a definite Zoom meeting. There's no reason for us to have to go to South Dakota, but I need to go, right? But my point of that is like, I feel like we are a world that forgets really quick. We get amnesia really quick, and we go back to status quo. And I really think it's unfortunate that companies and people are not remembering, like, you know what? Maybe you're tired of Zoom, but there's about 50% of your meetings that absolutely would be more efficient if they were via Zoom, And so I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it in my rotation. I'm sorry. I just cannot work the way I did before. I cannot.
I don't have the emotional bandwidth I did before. The other day I was having a conversation with someone, and the conversation was inauthentic. And I ejected from the conversation because I no longer have emotional capacity for people who
Right.
And it's funny because I think, how often did I put up with situations in the past? How often did I put up with situations in the past that were not authentic? And I didn't
Girl.
like normal. And I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore.
Oh. Right. It did. Oh my gosh, you're right on with that. Right on. And that's a part of balance too. Like removing things that do not serve you any longer, things that are not healthy, things that do not respect your boundaries. Like all of it.
To those things that do not serve you, that do not meet your boundaries, things that are making you feel uncomfortable. Like all of that is dead. This is what I'm like, okay, so I'm bringing forth positive from the pandemic. The reality is we all experienced the shit.
Right.
But there were positives. And the positive from you not having to get on a plane and go to South Dakota. Also, I used to travel 3 weeks a month. I was at my business a week a month. And I'm like, I never want to travel that way again. I want to I like to have a life. I like to have time to go to the gym. I like to have time to see friends. Heaven forbid, I might actually have a date. I mean, imagine that.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
I know.
I love it. No, it's true. And it's important. And that is a part of balance, having that full aspect. And I think that we end up being better to our clients, to our friends, to our family, if we're not running around tired. I can always tell when I'm like short with my daughter and I feel terrible about it. It's always when I'm completely just overwhelmed. Like I have hit the wall with work and everything else. And then I feel like I'm so short with her. And it's not even her fault.
You're not short with her. You're short with her because of you. You're short with her because you've had a long day, because you've had people pulling at you. You're have 7,000 things that have made you feel like you can't take it anymore. And then whether it's your daughter, whether it's a client, whether it's a woman at the grocery store, someone on the end of the fact that you.
Right. So what do we do? What's your goal? What's your goal this week? If there are, they always say if you put stuff in baby steps.
I did something major. You know how I told you I had booked in my gym during the lunch hour?
Right.
And either Thursday or every week, massage. 5 o'clock.
Wow.
5 p.m.
I cannot tell you the last time. Oops. Sorry, someone's calling. I can't tell you the last time I got a massage.
So I did it last week on Thursday at 5 p.m. And I did it because we were supposed to talk on Tuesday. I was on the verge of a heart attack, and I thought, I can't do this. I need to take a break. And what I know about myself is I know when I take a massage, my whole brain releases, and it's not just my physical body good, but my brain is smarter. I'm able to process things faster. My brain, it's like I'm in the flow. And I had this experience once. I had an experience maybe 3-4 years ago where I was dealing with a bundle of problems. I was dealing with a lot of things. And just by happenstance, 3 weeks in a massage. So 1 week,
Oh, wow.
I scheduled it. The next week, I show up, and the client I showed up to meet, they're like, it's clear you're stressed. I've booked us both massages. So I'm like, oh my God, you're the best client ever. And then the third week, I was meeting my colleague Gail, which you haven't met yet. I was meeting my colleague Gail in England, and Gail and I have this thing whenever we do marketing meetings, we always start the marketing meeting with a massage because we're like, let's relax, and then we go sit by the pool and we do the marketing meetings by the pool for 2 days. That's perfect. A really great way of working. And so just by happenstance, I had this month where I had 3 massages in a row. I also had 3 major problems. And at the end of those 3 weeks, my subconscious, I would wake up in the morning and my subconscious knew the answers to all these things I could not physically compute. My subconscious was able to figure out. And I determined it was because of the massages. So this is what I am doing at this moment in my life. I'm like Thursdays, Fridays, depending on the masseuse's availability, 5 p.m. on my calendar. Bam.
Okay, I absolutely need to get to work.
I can't find that thing. It may not be massages, but it may be every week. It just so happens my gym, if you buy 10 massages at a time, they're 390 euros, which is 39 euro a massage, which is like ridiculously cheap. So
are you serious?
I said, I'm buying 10. That's it. Basta.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, wow. No, I love that you're doing that because again, if you put it in your calendar, you're focusing on self-care. You know what I did decide to do?
Tell me.
I didn't know travel last year because of COVID, like most people. But I realized how stir crazy I felt. And so I have decided that every month I'm just going to do a little long weekend, even if it's just taking the day off and just not doing anything. So this past weekend I was in the city in DC, which was amazing. It was beautiful. I felt so relaxed. Next month I'm going to go to Mexico, which...
I've never been to Mexico. I've traveled the world and never been to Mexico.
Well, you have to come with me. I'm doing this whole yoga, eat, pray, love, cleansing whole thing. So I'm going to do that for 4 days. And then I'll have a trip to New York. I'm going to go to New Orleans. So I'm doing all these kind of little mini just once a month versus waiting and just saying okay, this is my summer trip or whatever.
I think this is the new way. What I said about 4 hours a day, if I can work 4 hours a day, then I don't mind working 8 days a week. 4 hours a day. If I can take mini vacations every month, if I can I think that the work hours changed. I think the work world that our fathers lived in, this 9 to 5, which wasn't 9 to 5, it was 9 to 7.
I was going to say 9 to 7, whatever.
9 to 7, 9 to 9, whatever. I think that world is done. And I think
absolutely
we have the opportunity to do is build our new reality. And the new reality, the new reality is you're taking a break every month. You're going to Mexico next month. You took a Have you read the book, The Artist Way?
No, we talked about that. I need to read it, don't I? You
do. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's read it together. Oh my God. Let's do this on the Prosecco Power Hour because every week we can discuss the book.
Okay, so whoever's listening, and we'll have to post it, The Artist Way, right?
Artist Way September Book Club.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And you know what? I think that's great because, it again gives you a reason to do something. I'm all about being task oriented. But what I love is, why I did this whole mini idea is one of the things I noticed when we were in Paris was that it was like Thursday, middle of the day, and people were at restaurants having coffee at 1 o'clock in the afternoon like they didn't have a care in the world, or they were having gelato like they didn't have a care in the world. And you would never see that in the US. Everything is rushed. I even found myself a couple times looking around going, okay, where's the waitress to help me? And I decided that I was going to change how I lived moving forward.
I love this so much.
And that's about balance.
Okay, so the reason I brought up the Artist Way, the reason I brought it up was there is a chapter that the whole chapter is all about making artist dates. And it's every week you make an artist date. And the point is that you do something that has the entire purpose of it is to inspire you. So maybe the artist date is a museum. Maybe the artist date is you go buy yourself a new pair of socks and you spend 45 minutes looking at socks. It's not about it's about taking yourself someplace that you can just be 100% free and open to inspiration. And what you described when you said you were in the city on the weekend, it was like she took an artist date. And so that's why I said
I love it.
But it's the last time I did the Artist Way was when I left Paris. I lived in Paris 1999 to 2005. And 2005 I moved from Paris to Amsterdam. And when I was at that moment in my life, I was in transition and I read the book with 3 friends. And
okay.
That was 2005. We're now, what are we, 2021? So
2021.
So I'm going to do it again. Everybody, we're going to start promoting this. Everyone needs to start with us and sharing. So week by week, we're going to plan this week by week, starting the first week in September.
Let's do it.
We have two minutes left for our Prosecco Power. What are you going to tell me in these last 2 minutes?
Wow. Well, we have a lot of exciting things that we're going to be talking about in the next couple weeks. Antiques, right?
Yes. Okay, we have to go back and have the conversation you and I had yesterday with my colleague Margaret. We should actually have that conversation again live.
We should. So 2 weeks we'll do it, and hopefully I've done my homework by then. But if you guys are following, you probably noticed the name change. So ASH Antiques and Design, because I'll be working with Toma and Margaret and her team, and we'll be doing some exciting things with antiques in the DC market and all over the US. So good stuff. What about you? What do you have to say? You got 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute is I have made a commitment to myself that I am worthy of what I desire. Last week I told you I was really struggling with balance, and I thought, what ultimately does this come down to? Ultimately, it comes down to the fact I didn't treat myself as if I was worthy of what I desired. I didn't treat myself as if I was worthy of taking a break or of life. And that's it.
Well, I'm going to show you something before we go. A friend of mine gave this to me as a reminder, and this is the same thing that you just said. Look.
No! Oh my God. Okay, that's amazing.
Isn't that awesome?
That's amazing. That's seriously. So mine, I'm going to send you guys a photo. I'll send you a photo and I'll post in my stories this same
Perfect.
I send you, Andrea. I have a little note on it's like a post-it note on my door, and it says, I am worthy of what I desire. And it's a reminder to myself to say,
I love it.
I keep doing all this shit that doesn't matter. I spend times in a way that doesn't matter. I spend energy, I spend time, I spend resources, and I often take less than I want. And I'm like,
yes.
why am I doing this with my life? I've just decided it's time to change, and the time is now.
There we go. And you are worthy, beautiful.
You are worthy, beautiful. It was so great seeing you. I really appreciate that you were
Absolutely.
gracious with me last week when I canceled on you. And I appreciate we did it today when I was in a better mood.
Right. We did it.
Okay, bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Until next time. Bye. Ciao.
Next time.
Ciao.